Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are going deep into really the engine room of the premium food and beverage industry.
That's a great way to put it.
We're exploring a choice that seems to separate the brands that really succeed at scale from the ones that just get stuck in, the chaos of the kitchen.
Right.
So if you're an entrepreneur, maybe an ops manager, and you're working on those high-end juices or RTD cocktails, gourmet baby foods, even infused edibles, you know this challenge.
You live it every day.
The sources we looked at all confirmed it. The real fight isn't just about flavor. It's about consistency. It's about safety and keeping that clean label when you go from, say, a boutique to national distribution.
It's a huge jump.
I mean, we're talking about the operational nightmare,
Oh.
dealing with these massive, slow-to-thaw, frozen blocks of puree,
Oh, yeah?
or just watching your valuable ingredients spoil because your shelf life is, what, a few days?
Or seeing the color just oxidize right out of the product before it even gets to the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
It's an unsustainable dance.
It really is.
It's more than a dance. It's a bottleneck. It eats your margins, and it just caps your growth.
Yeah.
And that is exactly why the ingredient we're unpacking today, septic fruit puree, is such a genuine game changer.
Okay.
The sources really frame this as more than just a process. It's a strategic foundation for reliable, profitable scaling.
Okay, let's unpack this. We hear the term sterilized, and immediately the skeptic in me thinks, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
If it's sterilized, doesn't that mean high heat? And doesn't high heat just destroy the flavor, the nutrition, everything my customers are paying for?
That is the crucial question. And that skepticism is totally valid.
So how is this different from, say, canning?
It's completely different. Aseptic puree production uses what we call flash sterilization. So very fast, very gentle application of heat,
Flash.
just enough to destroy pathogens.
Yeah.
But because the exposure time is so incredibly brief, it minimizes the negative impact on the fruit's color, its nutrients, and most importantly, those volatile flavor compounds.
Things that make it taste like real fruit?
Exactly. Once it's sterilized, it's immediately cooled and then packaged into a completely sterile, airtight environment. This is so different from canning, which uses much harsher, longer heating cycles that really do change the flavor.
And the result of that process is the big logistical benefit, right?
That's the key. The puree can be stored safely at room temperature
Wow. For how long?
for up to 12 to 18 months unopened. And this is without any added sugar, without acid, without chemical preservatives.
That shelf stability is amazing. But let's go back to the quality. You're comparing it to fresh or frozen. What exactly beyond freezer burn is it eliminating?
Well, it eliminates that constant sort of low-level quality risk you get with cold storage.
Right.
When you freeze and thaw something, you're risking cell damage. And that leads to weird textures, separation in the final product.
I've seen that in juices.
For sure. Aseptic purees are already homogenized. They're ready to use. They maintain a consistent flavor because they aren't subject to, temperature swings or oxidation. The sources are so clear on this, it tastes like the fruit should taste every single time.
And just getting rid of the thawing step alone must be a revolution on the production floor.
Oh, absolutely. No more wasted labor, no more guessing on thaw times. Plus, the ingredient is available all year round, so you're not worrying about seasonal sourcing for things like, star fruit or golden kiwi.
It changes the whole supply chain from reactive to proactive.
That's it, exactly.
So let's look at the bigger strategic picture here. Our sources laid out these three sort of defining benefits, the big three, that really elevate this from just an ingredient choice to a core business strategy.
And for any founder who's building a brand for the long haul, these 3 points are where you move from just surviving to actually thriving.
Okay, let's start with number one. Flavor that holds up every time. Consistency.
Right, and consistency is brand trust. If your customers pay a premium for your product, they expect it to taste identical, whether they buy it in New York or 6 months later in California.
It has to be the same experience.
It has to be. Aseptic purees guarantee that reliability. They just eliminate all those formulation issues, color changes, separation, off flavors that you get when you're relying on fresh inputs that are different with every harvest.
Which leads right into benefit number two. And this one is, it's non-negotiable for anyone in a regulated industry. Built-in food safety.
This is all about risk management. It's critical. Aseptic processing happens in a clean, closed system. So you get a sterile, sealed product.
And that control is priceless.
It is, especially for high-risk products like baby food or low-acid beverages. It's a massive leg up in meeting regulations like the FDA's Food Safety Modernization Act, or FSMA.
So it makes audits easier.
So much easier. Because your supplier has done the heavy lifting on sterilization and traceability, it de-risks your whole production line, and it drastically reduces the fear of a costly product recall.
That peace of mind alone is worth its weight in gold. And that brings us to the financial game changer number 3. Scalable, stress-free shelf life.
This one is really about P&L stability. That 12 to 18 months of room temperature stability means you are no longer tied to your immediate production schedule.
You can plan ahead.
You can strategically lock in your pricing during peak harvest when the fruit is cheapest, and then draw on that inventory for a year or more. It lets you hedge against price volatility, and it guarantees margin stability.
Which is impossible with fresh ingredients.
Totally impossible. You're decoupling your purchasing from your production.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. It's one thing to talk about these benefits, but the real power is in how specific founders use this to get over their scaling hurdles. We have 4 case studies here.
Yeah, let's look at the impact. Because the problem Aseptic solves is universal, even if the products are totally different.
Let's start with James, the craft beverage innovator. RTD cocktails.
Right. So James's problem was flavor inconsistency and separation. He could nail the recipe in his test kitchen, but when he tried to scale it with a co-packer,
It all fell apart.
pretty much, the fruit pulp would separate, the flavor would just mysteriously shift from batch to batch.
And that's the difference between a great cocktail and a returned pallet of product.
That's exactly it. Switching to aseptic purees solved those structural issues. The consistency let him scale from small batches to over 5,000 units without constantly tweaking the formula.
But the real strategic win.
It was time. He can now reliably work 3 months ahead. He can secure packaging, schedule production runs, and he's not worried that his main ingredient is going to spoil or change.
Then there's Nina, the cold-pressed juice founder. Her brand is all about fresh, functional, and clean.
But that meant her juice had a super short shelf life. We're talking 4 or 5 days.
Wow, so one delayed truck could be a financial disaster.
A total disaster. She needed to extend that window. She was using something called high-pressure processing, or HPP, after bottling.
Right, non-thermal pasteurization.
Exactly. But HPP works best when your inputs are perfectly stable and standardized. Aseptic purees gave her that operational breathing room. She could keep a rolling 30-day inventory.
And keep her clean label promise.
Yes. And crucially, it allowed her to launch these exciting, out-of-season flavors like dragon fruit, which really accelerated her move to profitable national distribution.
And for Emily, the baby food founder, safety and traceability are just everything. Parents are the toughest critics.
Absolutely. Contamination is a zero-tolerance scenario. For Emily, sourcing was the biggest hurdle. She needed a guarantee that her ingredients were contaminant-free.
And compliant.
Aseptic suppliers provide that. Lab-tested, certified ingredients, full chain of custody docs. Being able to verify sterility before it even entered her facility just streamlined her entire QC process.
So that foundation gave her the confidence to scale.
It did. From local farmers markets all the way to Whole Foods,
Right.
without ever changing her 100% fruit preservative-free label.
The last case study is fascinating. Alex, a premium pet food maker.
Yeah, and it really highlights the cross-industry application. Pet food is surprisingly similar to human food when it comes to compliance and the demand for clean, functional ingredients.
Right.
Alex needed to add superfruits like cranberry and blueberry for their antioxidants, but he struggled with fresh fruit spoilage.
And those antioxidants are often the key selling points, right, on the bag.
Precisely. Aseptic allowed him to integrate these powerful ingredients, even specialized blends like a mango turmeric for joint health, without any shelf life issues. It gave him this stable, appealing ingredient deck that justifies a premium price.
Tapping right into that humanization of pet food trend.
Exactly.
These examples really prove the point, but I have to ask about the cost. It sounds like a silver bullet, but does this stability come at a steep premium compared to just buying huge frozen blocks?
That's a fundamental business question. And while the unit cost of aseptic might sometimes be a little higher than bulk frozen, you have to look at the total cost of ownership.
Okay.
You're eliminating the cost of cold chain storage, all the labor spent thawing, insurance against spoilage, the financial hit of a bad batch.
All the hidden costs.
Right. And when you factor in the margin stability you get from hedging your prices for a year, the total economic benefit of aseptic, well, it often significantly outweighs any initial price difference. It's an investment in operational stability.
Okay, let's go back to logistics for the actual production floor. It's room temperature before opening. What happens after you break that sterile seal?
That's a critical point. Once that package is opened, the product is treated just like any highly perishable food.
So straight to the fridge.
Immediately.
Mm.
It has to be transferred to a sanitized covered container, refrigerated, and then used within a pretty tight window, usually 5 to 7 days.
Mm.
That transition is key for food safety.
And what about for smaller brands? Do they have to buy giant industrial quantities?
No, and that's also vital. A lot of these manufacturers offer custom blends and small-scale test batches, so brands can formulate, test, and really perfect their flavors before they make a huge scaling commitment.
So what does this all mean then? If you're a founder and your growth is stalled by inconsistent ingredients, spoilage, the anxiety of every single audit, what's the final takeaway?
The takeaway is that you no longer have to compromise. You don't have to choose between your core brand identity, your clean labels, your real ingredients, and your ability to actually scale nationally.
It creates that foundation.
It creates a stable, predictable foundation that turns those operational bottlenecks into real strategic advantages.
And it fundamentally changes how you lead the business. You shift your focus from, reacting to daily ingredient emergencies to proactively building a product development pipeline.
A pipeline that runs 3, 6, maybe even 12 months into the future. It's the difference between just managing a small business and enabling confident, predictable national expansion.
So the question to think about is, what strategic products could you launch if you knew your core ingredients were guaranteed stable for the next year?